Welcome back to episode 3 of the Point of Aim podcast. We have Mike, Byron, and your favorite host, Ben. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Good.
Yeah. Just coming off of Thanksgiving. Did you guys eat enough food?
I did.
I eat too much food,
Yeah.
honestly. I'm still recovering from that.
What's your guys' favorite food at Thanksgiving?
Damn, we should probably. That's a tough question. Like all of it,
Yeah.
right? Like
It's tough.
what's
Like,
the point?
What's your favorite? Like, what's the go-to side you have to have?
Dumplings probably around here?
I like dumplings.
the dumplings are good. So I'm a big broccoli fan. I had what was that? Broccoli?
Casserole.
Yes. Never had it before.
Yeah, my wife puts the hurting on that.
So that was up there.
And for those of you just joining in, this is a food channel along with a shooting channel. No, it is funny. Like, I think all 3 episodes so far we've incorporated food somehow or another. But we'll dive into some of the gun stuff. My favorite, I think, is that broccoli casserole.
Okay.
Like at the one house, which I have that everywhere we go. Gotta have sweet potatoes with some marshmallows toasted. And then dumplings are the way that my brother-in-law makes them is phenomenal. But anyways, so getting into a little bit of shooting stuff. Matches are dying down a little bit. But we were having a conversation the other day and thought it'd be a great topic to talk about on this podcast is transition from where we started with guns and, like what was our first gun we bought into where we're at now, what that road looked like getting there. Yeah. So,
Who should start?
Byron,
Again?
sure.
All right, fine.
I am kind of interested in how he ended up where he's at with what guns he likes.
Yeah.
So when I turned 21, my very first pistol ever was a Springfield Armory 1911 A1 stainless steel. 45 ACP. First gun I ever bought. After that, the second pistol I bought was a Glock 26. The little,
Like the
little
19,
grip.
the smaller 19.
Yeah, I think so.
Like that's like
Yeah.
the sub.
It's like you have to have
Little
the
guy.
magazine extension just to hold the gun. So then it was just, I just bought a bunch of guns. Just if I saw something cool, I would buy it. I've owned a lot of guns. So when I met Kenny, what's his name? He worked at Marty's Auto Supply. Marty's Auto Supply, shot in Bridgeville. Ken Hoffman. So when I met Ken Hoffman, that's when I went to Bridgeville and I took the 1911 in 45, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be fun to shoot a match with. So that's when he's like, oh, you got to get the Springfield Armory XDM 5 1/4 competition. You have to get this gun. It's got everything you need. Holster, mag pouches, extra mags.
I feel like that was like, it was before my time, but I felt like that was one of those guns that everybody kind of started
That was-
out
yeah.
with, like, or
Yeah.
a lot of the guys that were shooting
Certainly in
at
that time frame.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I bought it, and then that was the only gun that, like, if I ever went and shot a match, which was very rare, I would take that gun. Up until like 2019, maybe, when range time opened, I still was shooting that gun, and then, I started having trouble with my wrist. So I tried, a little heavier guns. I tried Smith & Wesson M&P, tried a Canic. Matter of fact, I think I shot the M&P at a match with you, Mike, in Bridgeville, and it malfunctioned. And Mike's like, that's why nobody shoots M&Ps. So I'm like, all right. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to try CZ, try the Shadow 2. And then I realized it was too heavy for IDPA. So then I found 2011s, and then I bought a Staccato C2. And when I shot it, it didn't hurt my wrist. And I'm like, this is pretty awesome. So then I bought a Staccato XC. And I'm like, this is even better. And then it just went down the rabbit hole. And
To what?
Atlas, then another Atlas, then another Atlas. And now I'm shooting a Kimber while I wait on an Atlas to be built.
Is that the Hades?
No,
He wasn't fast enough.
I wasn't fast enough. When I got to the website for that Black Friday,
Did you want one?
For some reason, I did.
I could have probably.
The marketing, they hooked him.
Yeah, I probably. Never mind. I shouldn't say that on camera. I got a guy.
But it wasn't. I
And
mean,
it's not Adam from Atlas.
but it wasn't that serious. I have an Artemis being built, so
Side note, Atlas, when you watch this video, for the love of Jesus, make some C2 palm swell grips for me.
Yeah, for those that don't know, C2 Palmswell guy right here.
that is
In
the C2
flesh.
palm swell guy. Yep.
It only makes sense if you're on like Facebook.
Sorry.
Right. So, yep. Now I'm shooting a Kimber. So the whole 2011 thing started because I was having trouble with corporal tunnel and cubital tunnel in my right arm. So sometimes when I shoot light polymer guns, or guns with heavier triggers, my hand will just lock right up. So that's when I went to 2011s.
And are you carrying that Kimber?
Between the Kimber and the Atlas, Aries.
Which Atlas?
Atlas Aries, yeah.
Oh, there's
Which
too
would be
many
nice
names.
with palm swell grips, I will say, which they don't make. But it's like
C2 palm
C2
swell
size.
grip.
Yeah, it's C2 size. So C2 palm swell grips on the would be nice. But
So is the primary attraction to the 2011s just they're easier on your wrist?
yes.
Nothing else is on your wrist is what I'm hearing.
Well, the CZ was, but
The Alien
But they're
definitely
CZs.
wasn't.
the
It definitely
Alien was not. Oh, I did try the Alien. It was terrible. I mean, I didn't like it. It hurt.
You can
me.
say it. It was terrible.
It hurt. I mean,
It was just
the-
like abusive. It was like
Yeah.
an abusive relationship.
yeah.
Yeah, like it was flat. It does shoot flat. Like that's
It
what
does.
they advertise. Like it does do.
And it feels good in hand.
Yeah.
Like when you
Before
grab
it
it.
goes
Oh
off.
yeah.
Yeah, before you shoot it.
Yeah.
Had a
Yeah.
very nice
Yeah.
trigger for striker fire.
Yeah. I mean, the CZs, they were nice. Only thing I didn't like was the double action. Just because I was lazy and didn't feel like training around double action first shot.
Yeah.
Just, to be honest.
A lot of people get hung up on that. I think like that's fairly normal reason to avoid the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I think a lot of it's more mental. Because you
Correct.
think like you can get a CZ to where it's like a stock Glock on like the double action. I mean, you think like when I shot Fioris or even like Billy's Tanfo, it's like, I mean, those are like their double action is phenomenal, so,
I remember
but it's mental, like, cause I
one
was still,
shot.
what's that?
This is one shot.
This
Yeah.
is
too,
true.
like,
Yeah. So,
But
and
dude, I don't want to deal with it that one shot.
Yeah.
That's fair.
well, I think it just takes time to like mentally,
Right.
like just get enough reps,
Right.
and then mentally get over the double action
And then
hurdle.
like you'll see some people that shoot them and will be still be afraid of the first shot, double action first shot, that they'll like pick out their stage plan based on their first target needs to be easy, so they
Yep.
don't have to worry about shanking it.
Just
Or
to
they
rip
just
that-
plan on ripping one off and missing, and then
yeah.
fire your two good shots.
Yeah.
Which is
Normally,
a terrible idea.
yeah, they won't draw but they won't draw to like a 30-yard popper.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
So no, that's great. Was there any other guns in there?
That I shot?
Yeah.
He's shot every gun that existed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you like this is a conversation for all of us, but like, do you remember because did you hear about Atlas and all that when you were buying staccatos?
yes. So
Okay.
I heard about Atlas from Eric Sharp at Bridgeville.
Yeah, because I used to think staccatos were expensive.
Yeah, and I thought staccato was like the thing for 2011. Like,
Yeah,
man, once you've got a staccato, you've had the best built 2011 on the market, and then you find out real quick, like some people consider staccato, I hate to say it, but like an entry level 2011 if you want like to get into the competition world. And that's
or like honestly, like I've heard a lot of people, I guess, use the phrase of like they're really good for an assembly line gun,
right. Right.
and they are. Like when you think
Well,
about it,
There's also a lot of people in the competition world that still hate staccato because they were STI.
yeah,
Then they dropped every model that we liked for competition and then changed their name to start marketing towards the tactical guys.
Yeah.
And then that pissed a lot of people off in the competition. There's still guys that
Yeah,
hate them for that.
which I don't disagree. Like I wasn't in it. Like I remember STIs and I've shot some that other guys have had, but I think for them it made way more sense to because you have such a broader community, like
Right.
conceal carry, the tactical, whatever. Like business wise, it made sense. And then you still have a lot of guys that, like they just fanboy because of the whatever gun tuber says to get it. And
Right.
everybody, tries to go get it. But I know for me, I used to think staccatos were like crazy expensive.
Hmm.
And like, I liked my, $600 polymer gun just because it was cheap. Um, and then getting into like seeing staccato prices and then like once you start like looking and shopping for Atlases or like Infinities, then it's
Mhm.
like staccatos are like really cheap. Like all of a sudden. So it's like once you're looking at 10,000, $7,000,
Yeah,
$8,000 guns, it's like,
Right.
man, staccato, that's that's a poor man's gun. So no. But how about you, Mike? What because you started with the XD, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of funny as Byron was talking about. So my first handgun would have been a year or so before I found IDPA, and it was a
Glock 19.
Springfield 1911
Really?
in 45. This was a GI model. It was like green with the little tiny combat sights. And I was pretty quick to realize like I can't see these sights at all. And I had no idea that I probably could have just sent the slide to a gunsmith and been like, hey, can I get some new sights on this? So I sold that gun. And a friend convinced me that XDM is jam.
I mean, but that gun's won 2 world wars, so really was it the gun's fault or
Oh no, it
yours?
was definitely me. Like I mean, this is my first handgun. I had no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was assured that the XD was the gun. Which
Mhm.
it's interesting that like as popular as that was then, how many people have you shot with lately running an XD?
I don't think ever.
I saw one person in Annapolis the other week. He said, I broke out the old XD. And I'm like,
it's been sitting in the safe for 15 years.
yeah. But I don't even think it was the one that like we had. I think it was just a regular
Just the
XD 40.
XD,
It was
yeah.
just like, it wasn't even.
Right.
The XDs, did they have like the grip safety?
They did, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, I've shot them, but I've never like shot in matches.
And they were the first gun, like as far as I know, like that had the striker mostly cocked. And then so in IDPA they called it enhanced service pistol, even if you're so my gun was completely stock and I couldn't shoot it in SSP because the striker was cocked. Whereas now I think all striker guns, the striker's basically.
Yeah. So after that,
So
what'd
yeah,
you
I
go
went from
to?
that and then I jumped into revolver. And then I was like,
That's a big jump.
yeah, right. Well, where do you think I went after revolver? What's the most logical division to move to?
After revolver, probably bug.
So by then I had give up on IDPA because they made all my guns illegal.
Yeah.
And then so I was only shooting US PSA, and I was like, when you're shooting revolver, like your movement can be trash and you can still do well.
Yeah.
Like if you go watch a video of a good revolver shooter and they'll like walk between positions because you spend so much time loading. Like I need to get good at moving. I'm gonna shoot open. So I started shooting open with a Glock.
I thought you were gonna say with the revolver.
Yeah. Right. Open with a
I would
Glock.
not recommend an open Glock.
What Glock was it? A
It
17?
was a
or-
17.
Yeah.
I loaded it to 9 major.
Jeez.
I at least one time yeeted an extractor right out of the gun from
About to say you were really testing fate there.
Right, yeah. It feels like a hand grenade going. It's like shooting the alien all the time.
Or like that yeah.
Just less reliable.
Right.
Or that like single shot suppressor Glock.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shooting 9 major out of a Glock 17.
Yeah. And then after that is when I got my first 2011.
Now was that like a STI or
It was a used open gun. It was old. Like a STI True Bore Competitor, I think they called it. I shot that for a bit, and then that's when I decided to build my wife a gun. So I built her a single stack gun. I think that's probably when I started to get more hooked. Like I like the tinkering with things. I like the mechanicalness of the 2011. I don't know, like the way everything functions.
you're like a mad scientist?
Yeah, so
Yes.
I've built a bunch of guns for myself to shoot. Find that part of the fun. Although also sometimes it's nice to just get one that works.
Yeah.
You
Well,
done-
and you probably started
done with
buying
it.
them when you had to like fix stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
they
they
weren't
weren't
quite
nearly
squared
as
away.
reliable then, I don't think. Like, primarily in the magazine area, like the Gen 1 STI mags, I feel like are junk stuff. You can just buy mags that basically
Right.
So, so your first 2011 you bought was double stack, but then you built your wife a single stack,
yeah.
and then what after that did you?
So then I built myself a double stack, like a 40 limited gun. I shot in limited. And I was
Which is
like,
so popular now.
yeah, which is dead.
You could probably buy like
And
a
that was actually
limited
that
gun.
gold gun that I have. Like I've rebuilt it now into a LO.
You could probably buy a pretty good limited gun.
Yeah, you can get them cheap. Like if you look around, like an STI and 40, nobody wants that gun.
Yeah.
They're almost cheap enough sometimes where you could buy it and just redo the whole top end and still be in the low end STI range, 2011 range. Like less than the Kimber, you could probably buy a old used 40 caliber STI and put a new slide and barrel.
Well, that's kind of what you did with like two guns, right?
Yeah, two of my guns are basically other guns that I've converted into LO guns. That's the
Yeah.
I think.
That's what when
Yeah,
when I say
no.
mad scientist, I mean like you're taking a 40 cal and making it a 9 mil.
Yeah.
And I'm just the one that's like, I just want to buy it off the shelf and it works.
And I
So-
did it. I started converting gun. I think my first limited optics gun, I was shooting open minor. I was like, screw it. I want to shoot 2011s. I don't feel like dealing with 40 anymore. Screw that. I'll shoot open minor. And then they made LO a real division.
Nice. Yeah. So so after you got out of limited, because you just bought guns for divisions you want to shoot.
Yeah, that's true. I did play in carry optics with a CZ, and then did PCC. You know, everyone's got that experimental phase, right?
I'm I haven't gone there yet.
No, not
Yeah,
PCC.
yeah, right. So I did PCC, and then I think I went back to carry optics for a little bit with a Canic. Oh, there's
Yeah, I
probably been
remember
other
that.
stuff.
I remember the Canon.
'Cause
Trigger was light.
he would have bought the Canic that I bought.
Yeah, I almost bought the steel frame one, but it was sold. Had your name on it. Dodged a bullet. That gun was such trash.
Yeah. So then you went. I think because once you got done with the Canic, which you shot that for probably like 8 months.
Yeah,
Or more.
probably. Yeah, something close to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
exactly. And then, like, really, what happened is I was at the range and Byron was playing with his Atlases. And like, I'm like, let me see that thing. And I'm playing. I'm like, man, like 2011s are nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at this point, I'm content shooting my crappy Canic because it gets the job done, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is nice. And then I go home and I put the Canic in the safe. Like, I pick up one of the 2011s that's in there. And I'm like, this gun is nice. I should shoot this gun.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, I'm shooting open minor with a Prodigy. And while I'm in the
Yeah, I
background,
forgot you bought the Prodigy.
Yeah.
I'm rebuilding guns into 9mm guns.
Yeah, I forgot about the Prodigy.
Yeah.
The Prodigy's a decent gun. Like it shoots well. Like the mags are junk, but the rest of it.
We had one at the same time, right? The Prodigy. I
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You sold yours to Larry, didn't you?
And I sold it to
Or did he had one?
he had one. He bought one and had it Cerakoted. I sold mine to a cop from Easton, Gordon. He passed away not too long ago. I did all the EGW internals. Yeah. Oh, Prodigy.
Yep. So, yeah, now you're just strictly 2011s.
Pretty much, yeah. Like
So
I have a bunch of them. Why shoot something else at this point?
yeah, and what are you carrying right now? I mean, I know, but for everybody watching, and we're talking
Like
to
carrying today.
just well, because you
Carry,
built a
where's
carry
that?
gun,
Yeah, so
which is probably the one gun we don't have on the table.
today I am carrying a Gerson Brat, which is a 2011. Well,
Yeah.
it's like the cheapest 2011 I think in existence. You could get them for $500.
Yeah. How much money did you put into it? Because you've done some work to it.
My wife's not gonna.
No, mine doesn't.
Not a lot, really. Like it's got a grip. It's maybe like $1,000.
We'll bleep it out if it's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's like $1,000
Okay.
because you change the grip, and really most of that is like the grip and the mag to go with the grip.
Yeah, but you're
compact
still
grip.
well under like even a Kimber or a
Yeah.
Staccato or
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
like I
that's-
could have chopped up the stock, which I was planning on just chopping up the stock grip to make it smaller, and I was like, this will be.
yeah. So I think there's something to be said about if you like to tinker with stuff, you can find affordable options.
Yeah.
Because even somebody getting in, right? Like was it 5 years ago, maybe like the entry level was staccato. Like that's where you had, like, that was the only really
Yeah.
2011 you could get
Right.
without getting into like crazy custom stuff. And then now, I mean, honestly, I think because of what they have done, they've made it so accessible for the everyday person. They've made it popular. So like I got to give them kudos for that, because now you have, companies like EAA, I mean Kimber, like other companies that are, and even the Prodigy, like people knock that gun, but for $1,500, it was the cheapest 2011 at one time.
At one time.
Yeah.
But because like they made that, then EAA came in with their like, I mean, literal staccato clones. Like, I mean, you call
Right.
them what you want, but now they're cheaper Turkish parts or whatever. But again, for $500, if you like to work on stuff, you could buy a gun that should shoot out of the box for the most part, or you buy it while you're waiting in Maryland, while you're waiting for your 5 days, order your, your parts to go in it and just have it, out of the box,
I
ready
have
to go.
never ordered a bunch of parts while I'm waiting for a gun that's been.
Imagine.
Wait. Scratch that.
Well, like, I mean, I think nowadays people, like, if they buy a Prodigy, for the most part, they're buying a Prodigy with all the parts, and then they just put it all together before, like,
Yeah,
right
you're
out of the
buying like a
box.
short block kit, right? Like you go in well, not everybody. Some people buy them and just want to use them. But you're buying knowing like I'm going to replace all this stuff and make this thing I want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like the Glock of 2011.
that's a good way to put it. They're like the Legos of 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're carrying a Brat, and you carried the CS for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which one do you like because I know you don't have the CS anymore, but which one did you rely on? Like, if you had to carry one, did you trust more?
I more often carried the staccato. Like, it is certainly a better built gun than the Brat. There is a $2,000 price difference out the gate.
Yeah.
I could shoot the Brat the way it is probably slightly better because the grip's a little bigger and fits my hands a little better. And
I mean, your
that's,
Brat
I think,
has
the
a
only reason.
has a better trigger on it than my C2.
Right.
So,
That's
my
true.
my
Your
plastic
C2's trigger is so bad.
Anything else on that from you? All right.
No? Is that are you sticking with the Brat or?
Oh, I mean, that,
Oh
that
yeah,
wasn't-
yeah. Sorry. While we're talking about waiting for guns, are you sticking with the Brat, Mike?
I mean, what do you define sticking with it?
What gun are you waiting for your 5 days? Because you only have a couple days left.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, no, it'll be an extra day because of Thanksgiving. Apparently, like that doesn't count as a day in your 7-day wait for your rights
What?
to be allowed.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
what I'm
so.
told. So
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
don't think
wait
so.
till Sunday, which I probably can't get it on Sunday. So I don't know.
Sounds
That
awful.
might be next weekend before I get it. But I picked up a DWX compact.
This is why I would say move out of Maryland, but like Delaware isn't much
Yeah,
better.
right.
Better.
Delaware's not great now, and
Give Virginia
I
like
think
another
Virginia-
year
yeah, I
or
was
two,
gonna
and
say
they're gonna be in the
they're-
same boat.
yeah. So DWX compact, that's I think a great option for carry. I think they messed up when they made the original one, the first like DWX compact with no rail,
No
wasn't
optic.
optic
Yeah,
ready.
that was
Yeah.
kind of dumb.
And it was like $2,000, and it's like you don't get any of the extra stuff. So like you buy the gun for $2,000. I say that it was probably like 1,800, but first thing you gotta do is send it off to get it milled. Then you void the warranty. Just everything.
it
You
was-
still don't
yeah.
have a light rail for a carry gun. For those listening, I'm doing air quotes. It's like a carry gun that you can't put a light on it. But
Yeah, if it didn't come optics ready, I don't even know if it would have been on my radar. as a
Yeah.
pot-
what did you carry before the Brat and the staccato?
I've been.
Because
I've
you
kind of
carried
jumped around. Like
365
my
for a little
first
bit,
carry
right?
gun, like if you go all the way back to when I had the XD and then started shooting revolver, I got was it like a Taurus snub nose revolver, right?
Can we not say that on?
And then I had
He
a-
was
Wow.
shooting revolver at the time.
It's true. Yeah,
like I had no idea what I was doing. And then I had a
Can you
Keltec.
imagine Mike in the street speed loading a snub nose? Like,
Well, I shot it. Even then, I took the guns I had and took them to IDPA and did terrible with
yeah.
it. But that's when I started thinking like I should shoot the guns that I carry some in matches to see how they perform, to see how much I'm giving up to
Yeah.
competition gun. So every gun I've carried, I've taken to matches some. I at
Yeah, you
one
might not
point-
shoot all year with it, but
yeah, at least, and certainly when I'm deciding if I like a carry gun, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna go shoot it and see how it does.
I think most people like in the off season, you pick up a match or two. It's like, oh, I'll shoot my carry gear.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or at least most people in our circle, I feel like. I mean, we're literally about to have what 3 or 4 matches
Yeah, they're
straight
all
that will
carry
be
guns.
carry.
Yeah, I had to
So-
buy a new carry gun for that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That does not make sense.
And-
Yeah, so I think it's interesting because I know for me personally, like as my carry gear switches or has switched over the years, which not a ton, but it was more to like mimic what I'm shooting at matches, what I'm
That's
shooting.
what I was saying.
Yeah,
I do the
yeah,
same.
like way more. So if I'm getting, hundreds and thousands of reps, shooting matches, like for example, talking about 2011s, like defeating the safety, you're already in a match with it, cocked and locked. So like that's no different than if it's in waistband or whatever. And that was when I made the shift to like go towards something that I'm actually shooting in a match. But I started out my first match, I shot a Glock 19, loud and proud. And then what was funny is so I thought the natural upgrade from a Glock, not really knowing like competition stuff, just had been shooting and I was like, well, I really want to get something that I can have like a dot on it and all that. So I bought I don't know what the actual model name, but it was a Shadow Systems.
A Glock.
It was a Glock. Well, yeah, but
It's
it was
a
like
less reliable Glock.
yeah, now I know that. But when I bought it, I was like, oh, I got the gamer,
Yeah.
I got the good Glock. But I could put an optic, so I put like an SRO. I did
Okay.
buy a good optic. Because the 507 comps weren't really a thing. O sights weren't really a thing then. And I didn't like the Hollison, like the one with the solar panel. That was like the only one they had at the time.
Like the 507C.
Yeah,
or something.
I didn't like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So I was just like, well, I'll spend extra and get the SRO. And I did get it with a threaded barrel, in case I wanted to put a comp or something on it or a suppressor. But yeah, so that was like the next gun where I'm
Laughs
like, what's that?
laughs at my revolver or whatever, and he's shooting. Like I had to get a threaded barrel.
Yeah,
Fake
just in
Glock.
case. Oh, I just thought it was cool, So yeah, so then I competed with that for a while. And then once you actually like compete, that's why I always tell people like just show up with what you have. Because like people think that they gotta buy a gun to do competitions and you do not know what you don't know.
Right.
Like for me, I did the same thing. I was like, I shot the 19, which I did want to get into optics. So naturally I either had to get that slide milled or buy a new gun. And who doesn't want to buy a new gun? So, but so then from there, I skipped over the XD line into competing. That
You
was
came
like,
in too late.
yeah,
missed
that
that-
was
you missed that
before.
train.
Yeah. And then so Shadow 2s were like kind of hotness. I think that I was like on the back end of like the Shadow 2s being or
Okay.
and the CZs in general. But then it was like the Canics were really starting to like take off and they just came out with like the steel frame. Nils was
Before we get
beating-
into your Canic, I wanted to say like when you were shooting the Shadow Systems, the best thing about that gun was when we started practicing together, and I could tell him to go faster and make his gun malfunction.
Yeah.
Like I would just say, Ben, okay, do that again, faster, jam,
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
I
It
enjoyed
was like clockwork.
Like,
Well, and then, even talking about the Shadow system. So like there isn't really a lot of aftermarket stuff. There might be now, but at that time there wasn't like you couldn't really get another Magwell.
okay.
It came with one, like a small one, which was fine. But like if you wanted to put like a brass backstrap or like you didn't really have any of those options,
Okay.
which kind of not that you need any of that. But you don't really have any adaptability like in the future, if that
Right.
makes sense. So, but yeah, definitely that gun I mean, the nice thing, you could force a malfunction not intending to, where like the Glock just ran.
Right.
but it was stock too. So, but yeah, so then I went and made the jump to the Canic, which at that time, like Nils was beating everybody with Canic. So I think there was like some stuff from that. And then locally, a lot of us were like getting the Canics, shooting them. And honestly, at that point, for like $600-700, like the Canic was good. It was like nice. So I thought, well, if I get the steel frame model, I thought that like, yeah, it was a little more expensive, but I thought like, well, it has to be just as good as the polymer $600 model.
Same mistake everyone made.
Yeah. Yeah.
And bought one or bought two. Like some people bought two of them.
Yeah.
and
Well,
neither
yeah.
worked.
Who?
I would say I said some people,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
imagine we're thinking of the same person.
Yeah. So, yeah, me and Larry Coons, we went to battle like back and forth. It was so bad at one point with the Canic. We were tallying like how many rounds we would get through the gun. And like Larry would call me and be like, "Hey, I just broke, 1,200 rounds without a malfunction." He's like, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm still at 600. Like, and we were going back and forth. And I mean, and even like Mike being the mad scientist and me like, I mean, dude, we were at the range countless times trying to like figure out like why, because it was having like failure to eject, like just whatever. And it was like we thought it was the mags because everybody was saying those were over inserting. And I like that gun. That was at that point when I bought that was like my favorite gun. It ran when it ran good, but then it hit a point where it was just like not running.
Right.
And honestly, if that gun, I'm not saying I wouldn't have switched to like 2011s, but if that gun worked, I'd probably still be shooting it for the most part. But anyways, so that quit working. I mean, even like down to like Henning made a special base pad for the gun to not, or for the mag to not over insert. I guess it worked. I don't really know. And then no, because it just still had issues. And I think the last thing I should have done was probably send the barrel off to get reamed. And I think that would have fixed it. Because they were like the most accurate pistol, especially for like striker fire, but even against like 2011s, like I'd put them up there. But with that, it was because like that the barrel was so tight, like the chamber and all. And that's what I was thinking was happening is that as the brass expanded, it was like so like way too tight to where like the extractor would slip off of the casing. So I saw that was working now. It's like people have reamed those. And I think because Canic never like owned up to anything.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
Now,
I
they
think-
were making changes because like people online would like buy another one and then take them apart and be like, look, they changed like the barrels don't. I
Yeah.
can't switch the slides. The barrels aren't the same. Like they've changed something.
They definitely changed something. And what was funny is so because I was shooting that gun at nationals and I remember it hosed me on it was a fixed time stage, which they have it like when they do it in Ohio, they do something similar. But basically at the beep, these like panels would switch and you'd have like targets and you have to shoot so many. Well, and then after a certain amount of time, they switch back. So it was like beep, draw, shot, and just malfunction. And by the time I cleared it and get back up, it was like everything was
probably one of the worst times in a match.
100%.
Is a fixed time, just all mics.
yeah.
Awesome.
So literally, and luckily there were no penalty mics. Not that that matters at that point because you missed all the
Still
points.
just hemorrhaging points.
And
Yeah.
so at that same nationals, me and Josh Morgan ran into Nils, and Josh was a little like, he's like, nah, like don't bother him. And I was like, nah, like I was like, we'll get a picture with him. I was like, I mean, I bought the gun, partly because of him. And so as we're like talking, I'm like, so why, how did you get your gun to work? Like, and like you could tell, like it wasn't, I shouldn't have, done it or asked him, but I also thought it was kind of funny. And I just wanted to like legitimately see, like, if he was just like, oh, like, hey, don't tell anybody, but like, just ream the barrel, like, and it'll work. Like, run some sandpaper, something. But no, he was just like, all right, see ya. Just like rolled out. And Josh, he was so like, he's like, I cannot believe you just asked him that, like at Nash. I was like, dude, that's the one time I'm probably ever gonna get to talk to him or ask him a question. I want to get my gun working.
Right.
So it just hosed me like 2 stages ago. So anyway, so from the Canic through the pain, through all the hurt and the
You
broken
shot that gun
heart.
way too long.
Way too long.
Like for all the it was just constant malfunction. You're like, I think I got it now. I'm like, dude, you need to get rid of that gun. I think I fixed it.
Yeah.
Malfunction.
It's so true. I definitely shot it way too much. And then when I hit the point, because you guys had all like you were on the 2011 train at that point, or back on it for some of you, for Mike. And well, and I love shooting your guys' stuff, but it was also like the barrier to entry was so hot. Like it was expensive.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the $600 Gerson stuff then. And I remember like, you know, just like really thinking about like, you know, going through all the stuff of like, what do I get? Like, I know I like the Atlas with the palm swell. I like the 2011s, but you know, just all that stuff. C2 palm swells. But that's what, for me, like that gun, those Atlases like fit in your hand. But I'm like, I got 3 kids. I'm not spending $7,000 or even like 5 on a used one for that. Like, yeah, I can't do that. But so then I landed on the DWX partly because of Larry, because he switched from the Canic to a DWX, and it was like running. And I really liked the DWX and like the concept of it. That because like at that time, 2011 still had like some mag issues, I think, or they were known for mag issues. They might have fixed it by then. So I was a little worried about that. But then the biggest thing was that I can change the grips and put palm swells on and all that. And it was kind of at that point when it was like a do-all gun where I could shoot IDPA with it, which it took a little bit of massaging to get it to fit.
Did you ever fail to make weight or anything or get DQ'd for matches with that gun?
Mike, why are you asking me that? You know I have.
I just want to make sure everybody else knew.
Yes, I got DQ'd at Delaware State for equipment. I guess my scale was broke because I sent you guys a picture. Like you got like I literally was like, oh, I finally got it to make weight. And then it was I get there.
Was your scale broke or was their scale?
How did
No,
it weigh?
because they
Was it
had the
ounces or
gram
grams?
thing. They weighed on it. Their scale
like
was
checked
right.
it right in front of
Yeah,
you.
Did they do it in ounces or grams?
grams.
See, doesn't the rule book say ounces?
I feel like you could make an argument that like that's not fair.
Yeah, but even in ounces, I think
what I
like
get.
it
You were
was
over.
still, I think it was still like 50.3 or something.
Right? Yeah, if there was enough decimal points, like
Well,
1 gram,
And
is
it was
still
it was
overweight,
because of the
but-
magwell. So I could if I would have. So because in that match, I was actually like setting some stuff up, putting some banners out and all. So I didn't realize that they had equipment check because they announced it while I was like out on the bay or whatever.
Okay.
So if I had known, I could have went there, done equipment check, and realized it was too heavy, popped the magwell off, and like would have been fine.
What I'm hearing is IDPA screwed another shooter.
Nah, I mean, ultimately, like in that situation, it's on me as a shooter to have your equipment and guns squared away. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah. I remember when you were trying to make the switch. I think I had at that time I owned like maybe the whole staccato lineup and the
Yeah.
Atlas, and like
Yes.
we took them to the range. And you were
Yes,
just
like multiple times,
Yeah.
like multiple trips to the range.
yeah, yeah.
Because I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I like the, and I think the problem too is at that time I was also trying to find maybe a carry gun or something too, because I was carrying the 365, and I was kind of like wanted something that like, well, I could carry it and compete with. And realistically, unless you're one of those guys that's going to commit to that, it's going to be 2 separate guns. Like I like the 5-inch for competition, and then my carry gun, you know, which is the C2 now. You know, but I like that it's still the same, not same ergonomics, but it's the same like platform for the most part. So, but what really turned me on to the C2s, like I said, was the palm swell grips, and also
DWX.
what'd I say?
C2.
Oh yeah,
He
DWX.
thinks-
He just C2 palm swell.
He
Yeah.
thinks-
Just
Well,
comes out
I
of
was
his
also
mouth
thinking
constantly.
because where it's modeled after like the C2, like the lower bore axis, mixed with like a 2011.
He
I
thinks that's a 2011.
Right.
it's like yeah, it's not a
He's so
2011.
cute.
I'm glad
Bless
you
his
turned your
heart.
head so nobody will hear you say that.
Bless his heart.
But the ergonomics on that, in my opinion, fit my hands, and I would put money that gun shoots. Not that it matters because it's 9mm, but I think it shoots softer than 2011. So
I know you called my one Atlas aggressive, so I will say
I mean, let's
It
be honest,
probably
no
shoot-
9mm other than the Alien,
Yeah, somehow
Or
it
like-
amplified recoil. I don't know what it did.
but none
Yeah.
of them are like aggressive,
Right.
right?
but you got to think like that gun weighs like 7 ounces more than my 2011.
I mean, that's
pretty,
fair.
pretty stout gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's before I put the brass pump.
Right.
Before I put 8 ounces of brass on it.
right.
Yeah. But no, I like the idea of that, and that gun has not failed me,
Nice.
and I love that gun.
I've seen him clear.
What's that?
I've seen it for it to have not failed you. I've seen you clear malfunction.
Yeah, well, stuff happens.
Let's blame it on ammo.
I do.
No,
like
it's
the
always
guns,
self-induced.
right?
So it's very rarely the ammo, or actually it might have been that. I know that the ammo I won at nationals one year, the Excalibur ammo, that had a ton of issues. But in any gun, that stuff wasn't not that good.
Did that thing shoot the zeroed ammo well?
It was all right, but yeah, I
I
mean,
see some people struggling with malfunction.
yeah, I think more so on the 2011s
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
feed lips.
So I was at the range one day with it, and the 135s, and it actually like jammed in my gun. So I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I got like some 135s left for that zero, but I'm gonna shoot it out the prime.
It's good ammo. I think it's nice because like you can buy it. It's USPSA certified now,
Mhm.
so like you can run it in matches, not have to worry about kernel, all that. But it's like for the money, like Blazer freaking works. Like people knock Blazer, it's dirty, but like it works. I don't think I've ever had Blazer not make chrono or not like feed in the gun. So
Right.
Yeah, when we're
anyways.
trying to see if the gun's messed up or if it's the ammo, I'll just put some Blazer in it.
Yeah,
If it
absolutely.
messes up now.
Yeah, so and I don't really have plans to change my gun. I've thought about getting another one to have like the optic ready one. That way, because like I had to get this one milled, so I can't shoot this one in other IDPA divisions like ESP or something like stuff like that, or like if I wanted to do like L10 or something, which I guess you can do L10 optics now.
Yeah, L10 is an optics division now.
But yeah, so I thought about getting that, but then I'm like, well, I can just literally shoot my carry gun in ESP or something if I want to. Which for those that don't know, I just switched this past year to the Staccato C2, which I like because I had a SIG 365 like iron sights. That was my second carry gun. Because I was carrying like the Glock 19 when I first bought that for a while. Which the 19 is like probably a little too heavy to carry a little bit or a little too big, especially when you're working every day. But it was manageable. Then the 365 came out. Like I bought one of those because I thought that was like the perfect carry gun for the size. You know, I think I had 12 rounds or 10 or 12 rounds. So I was like, this is perfect. And it's so small and compact. And then I carried that for 8+ years, maybe longer. No, almost 10 years, probably 9 or 10. And then, or whenever that thing came out, somebody will fact check us, I'm sure. That thing's only been out for 8.5 years. How'd you carry it for 10?
Right.
But anyways, then I switched to the C2 partly because I was like, that gives me a backup gun for competition, but it also is a similar platform. Had I known what I know now, I probably would, and I probably still will buy like the DWX Compact. And the only reason I didn't go with that is because they didn't have the updated version out yet. And the C2 kind of like checked enough boxes to where I was like, this will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with Mike. Like, I think I would go with the DWX Compact for a carry gun. So, and the C2's a smidgen big, but
Let's say I've always kind of done like you're thinking with having the backup gun or the carry gun that's similar, right? Like I carried a 365 for a while, and I probably got that while I was shooting a 320. Which did have a,
I did as well.
everyone's had a 320, right? Like
I
you
had the
have to.
Legion,
Well,
then the
you had a
X-Carrier.
320 too.
Yeah.
Then when I shot this Shadow 2 for a bit in carry optics, I started carrying a PO1. Like it's basically the same gun, just a little smaller and lighter. I shot Canic. I had to just pick up a Canic. I got a backup gun, a little bit
Yeah, you
smaller.
do. Yeah, I remember that.
And then I
Yeah.
have a carry gun too. You know, the DWX Compact's not a 2011, but the controls feel the same. It'll allow me to do similar to you. Like I can do palm swells. It will fit my hand better than the CS did, but it'll still kind of feel like my competition gun. So like reps are kind of 1-to-1 a little bit.
Yeah.
Whenever you're shooting.
Well, what I like about those, talking about like palm swells, because I had palm swells on the Canic steel frame, and it was good. And like, and this is probably very minuscule, like complaining a little bit, but that's not even a big deal. But just because we're talking about it, but like the difference with like the Canic, the Walthers, what other guns can you put palm swells on that aren't?
That aren't
Even the
doubles-
Atlas.
double
The Atlas is actually similar to the DWX in this. Because like the Atlas and the DWX, if you don't want a palm swell on the right side, you can just put a flush mount
Mm-hmm.
like
right.
grip panel. So I think that's good. Like I use it on both sides, but I think for people that have weird shaped hands or bigger, whatever, like if you just want it on like your support hand side to give you a little bit of extra grip, it's perfect for that.
Do any of the places sell? Will they let you mix match grips? It'd be nice if you could go to Lock and be like, "Can I get a left hand palm swell, right hand side?"
Yeah, I think you got to
and
buy.
buy two.
Yeah, but the
I usually
DW
just get a set of palm swells and call it. Good.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily care much what the right side is, but
yeah, the DWX comes with like some decent like aluminum grips, but there's no texturing really on them.
Yeah.
But they're nice, like they're good
they
looking.
got to match right. Seam.
Yeah, I remember. Well, one IDPA match, I showed up with like 2 different grips because I had to do that to make weight for like Maryland State or something.
It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
one brass, one aluminum, or something.
No, it was G10. I
Okay.
think it was a G10 and an aluminum one or something. And it was just because I didn't have enough time to like carve out all the G10 on the other panel. So, and then I found out that they have pre-channeled out G10. I have like 8 sets of TWX
goodness.
grips. I got brass. I got the original aluminum. I got aluminum with like the lockjaw that are palm swells because I thought those might make IDPA weight. I got the brass lockjaw. I have like 2 sets of the polymer grips. So yeah, I got like 5 or 6 sets of.
You just need more guns.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
grips.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But the cool thing is like, because I thought about buying like a Shadow 2 just because, and I was like, oh, I already have a set of grips for it. I'm saving already.
You
You
could
know?
probably get Troy to cut the bottom off the grip and put them on a DWX Compact.
They won't fit. I think
think
even if you
he's-
cut them out,
Oh, he said he was playing with one of them and he'd figured out how to make it work.
maybe you
I
can.
don't know what he's cut on it. Because there's one of the sets of grips he really likes, but they don't make it for the compact.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's like figured out how to make it work.
and that was another reason why I didn't go with the DWX Compact. Was like in the way my brain was working at the time was like because I would have had to buy all new mags and like new grip panels, all
So he
that.
buys a staccato.
Which was fine.
which
No,
is
no,
better
no.
than
All
mags.
new mags.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. I looked at if I'm gonna buy all new mags, I may as well do a 2011 because I know I'll probably own another 2011. See? So me trying to save some money, I was like, well, I'll buy mags for the 2011. And then when I get an Atlas, then I'll have mags.
I like the logic of spend more money to save money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the guns were roughly the same price. But like I said, for me having a carry gun, like I without a doubt, I'd normally like want to put a flashlight on. So generally, I don't know how. Maybe not everybody's like that, but
No, I think I know why people put flashlights on their.
well, they put those big flashlights. Hold that up real quick, Byron. Well, you got to hide behind the Kimber there.
Fancy big light.
Why is it not on the gun?
Because he was embarrassed.
Well, it serves its purpose. I took it off just so you can let the Kimber shine without.
He's
that
probably
big
got
light.
tungsten batteries in that thing for
Right.
carrying.
No.
That's how you know that some people put flashlights on their gun nothing involving light, right? It's tungsten batteries. So, you know why that?
Ben, do you own a set of tungsten batteries?
Dude, I shoot IDPA. Of course I do.
Mike, do you own a set?
I own a set, yeah.
Byron does not own a set of tungsten batteries.
I also have a TLR one that's just full of lead. Like it's like JB welded in there too. Like that is a ruined light.
So no function whatsoever. Just
It
the
has
weight.
a function. It is a frame weight. That is what it is. like this is how I know that people do this because I've done everything.
I do remember seeing that. He like pulled the cap off and it's literally like lead shot, like glued in there.
And to be fair, like Bob Vogel was the first person I know of that did that. So it's not like just some idiot like me doing it. Like I stole the idea from one of the best shooters ever. And
He's
other
like in
things he's
jail
done.
right now.
Beep.
Just cut it there.
So we're back.
So today's episode is brought to you by CCW Safe, the premier lawyers at your side.
He thinks people.
Now, so there's been a lot of controversy over the years, but as we're talking about guns, carry gear, and some of that stuff, I thought it would be fitting to shout out CCW Safe because they actually protect their people, unlike some of the other ones out there that claim to, but they kind of cherry pick some of the cases that they work with, and they have some clause in there that don't protect you as the insuree. So CCW Safe actually does. That's why we recommend them. So yeah, check them out. That was a good segue to change topics as well. But yeah, and I think it's back to the carry gear. I think it's interesting, and Mike brought it up a little bit, but like just how as your competition gear evolves, so does like your carry gear, right? Like even on my C2, you know, I carry it with, well, I've switched it up a little bit now, but I carry it with a comp on it and a 507 comp optic. So it's like, it's technically probably more gamery than that because it has a compensator on it.
Right.
You know, but it also has a full window, like competition optic. Partly with that was like as a backup gun, you know, kind of thing. But the other part was, other than like lint getting in there and all that, like I just like having a windshield to look through. So
I haven't carried a long time. It was never my thing. So my very first carry gun was a Staccato C2. And I just rocked it iron sights. And that's all I, had. And then I went to the 365 and built like a million different versions of the 365, the Mischief Machine grip modules, bought the Legion. I mean, I built it was like a 4-inch 365 that was ported and comp, gold sliding. That thing,
I remember that.
Similar, right?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
well, I almost
Shooting
bought
gun
that.
for a 365,
It was.
right? Like,
It was. And now it's like, I bought the Atlas as a carry gun, which is kind of insane when you think about it. But I'm back to the Canik Prime I'm trying to set up.
See, I don't think that's crazy because, like, I get a lot of people make comments because I carry like a C2, and they're like, "Well, if you use it, like the cops are gonna take it," and it's like, yeah, you're not wrong, right? But it's also like, if I need to use it, I want the gun
You're
that
right.
I'm used to
Perform,
using
yeah.
too. Like,
first thing I got to do, survive using the gun.
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
Then I'll figure out what to do with getting my gun back.
Now, don't get me wrong. I have thought about like, can I take the optic off before the cops get here? Like you see me popping the mag well, like there's no mags with it. Like just getting all the, pop the compensated barrel off.
I mean, and that's the way I look at it as well. And I'll tell people in carry classes, I always recommend you carry the biggest gun you can conceal comfortably. Because a lot of times when you get into concealed carry, it's like, this fits in my pocket. Okay. When you go to the range, well, I can't hit nothing. Why do you even carry it at that point? I mean, it conceals in your pocket, but
or like, I look at like whenever I talk about carry gear, I look at like, where am I throughout the week?
Right.
Okay. I know without a shadow of a doubt, every Sunday I'm going to be at church for the most part, like unless I'm out of town. I know that there's certain times throughout the week where, I'm in customers' homes, which that is what it is. Or like if I go shopping this day, it's at night, like you kind of prepare yourself to where it's like, I know that like my church, like the farthest shot in my church is really far,
Right.
right? Like 40, 50 yards, could be. Obviously, I don't think you should take those kind of shots if you haven't practiced and trained and whatever. But like not to get into the tactical stuff. But my point being is like I know a couple things. I know that I shop at night a lot of times when it's dark out, even in the summertime. I know that I'm in church every Sunday. So like why wouldn't I set myself up for success in those situations, right? Like yeah, cuz people talk about like, well, majority of encounters are within 7 yards. You're not wrong. Majority of them are. But like what happens for the ones that aren't, right? Like
And
look
just
at
because it starts at 7 doesn't mean it stays at, like, if you end up in an altercation with someone else that has a firearm, like, they're probably gonna try to put distance between you and them, and it can open up very quickly.
yeah. I mean, or like even nowadays you have multiple attackers,
Right.
right? Like you have multiple people kicking in a front door
Right.
to attack your family,
Right.
4 and 5 people. So that's why I think like, mag capacity is important. Like I know I don't really carry a spare mag. I know I should, but a lot like I did for a while. I was very religious about it, but then it just got to where it's like just more crap in my pockets. Now I do have like spare mags, like either in my bag or my truck. Um, but staccato mags are expensive.
Yeah.
But I think like it's important, right, for carry stuff to like, I know that I can pull that staccato out and I know that comfortably like 25 yard,
Right.
whatever. Like, and
Right.
I know I can shoot farther than that, but I'm talking like being able to draw first shot
Right.
at that distance. And what was the guy Dickens?
Dick-
That was like
Dick
40
Saban,
yards, right?
40 yards.
Yeah, and he missed a
Basically
bunch.
across the food court or something, I think, at the mall.
Yeah. And like so that's another thing, right? Like if you go to like Walmart, when you think about how big a Walmart is.
Right.
Yeah,
And
people
like
are like, don't think about that kind of thing, right? Or just the Walmart parking lot is probably more likely to,
yeah.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, the
I mean, even
Acme parking lot.
even still, like I've been in classes when it comes time to qualification, especially when I was teaching at the indoor range. I've seen people literally at the beginning at the 3 yard miss a complete B-27
I've
target.
seen that too.
I mean,
Like
like
hit the dirt and right in front of
Right,
it, and you're just
just-
like, whoa.
yeah,
you
like
probably-
completely miss. So it's
Why
like,
not
you
miss?
know,
And at that point it's still passing, right? They hit everything else. Yeah.
I mean, if you hit everything else, yeah, but
Yeah, but
it's
that's where like as the instructor, you gotta be like, hey,
right,
I can't comfortably pass you.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, you tell them, well, I can't grab this gun. Well, maybe this gun isn't for you if you cannot grab it and do what you need to do
Yeah.
with it. And it's just sometimes it's hard for people to accept. I mean, I'm carried by a little carry gun that is actually small, fits. It's like the Smith and Wesson Bodyguard
Okay.
2.0, the Performance Center one with
The comp.
the comp.
Smith and Wessons aren't bad. Like, in my opinion, their
they're not-
triggers actually aren't too bad.
So
for
I
instructor
shot the new Bodyguard 2.0.
They're better than the alien trigger.
Yeah, the striker hammer fire trigger.
Yeah.
But so I shot a Bodyguard 2.0 at the range about a month ago. There was a couple there, and they were getting ready for the Maryland qualification. And she was shooting it. She couldn't hit the target at all at 15 yards. She was like, "I just want to work on the farthest distance." Her husband grabs a gun, and he's like, "There's something wrong with the sights." And a range officer is like, "Byron, come shoot the gun." I'm like, "Okay." So I shot it at 15 yards, and it was like a softball-sized group with that little 380. And I'm like, "Man, this gun barely fits in my hands, but it shoots nice." So
Yeah, what I used to do, like when people would start saying that, right? Because like especially men normally, women normally don't make the excuses.
Right.
They're just like, hey, I need help, and they're normally better like people to learn, students.
right,
Wow, words are hard today. All that turkey.
turkey coma still.
But like when a guy's like, oh, like the sights are off, because I don't know why that's like the go-to thing. Like how hard
The
it
gun is broken.
like you
It's
could
not
hold the
made.
gun, just point it right properly, and probably still hit fairly accurate.
Right.
But like, so whenever somebody's like, "Oh, the sights are off," like I'll take the gun and I'll turn it upside down and use my pinky to like shoot the target, just just to prove a point of like it's not the sights, right? Like, if you just have good fundamentals, right? Like if I can just press literally a gun upside down with my pinky and align the sights, like the gun will go where it needs to go.
Right.
Like if you're missing the target at 3 to 5 yards, like the sights would have to be so far off they would fall off the.
Yeah. And that brings up a good point too that I wanted to talk about today is like carrying red dots, because that's still, I think, controversial. I think it's way more accepted now, but carrying red dots on carry gear, because optics fail. You got to have a battery in it.
Iron sights fail too,
Yeah.
to a less extent, but they fail.
I think as of now, though, we've had more irons fail in our classes than
Yeah,
optics.
we haven't really had many optics,
No, but we remember the Glock sights that flew off.
It flew off.
right? And somebody else's, or no, his something extractor.
Yeah.
had a couple
Somebody's
guns go
rear
down.
sight like broke in half or something at a class. I think they're like the screw in the rear sight like came apart or something.
They were
Like
shooting nine
adjustable,
major.
adjustable rear sights are much more likely to.
Right.
Yeah, and fiber optics, but you still like even with fiber optics, you still have a front sight post.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you
hopefully.
could still shoot. Hopefully.
Yeah. I did have a front sight like break in half. I could still shoot it. Like the fiber was gone and the front half was gone, but I could.
But I would say like all of us carry with optics.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really worry about my optic breaking. And even if it did, like I feel comfortable enough as a shooter and like shooting enough to where like I could index the gun and just line the person probably through the window and like still make a
Right.
decent enough shot to like
Yeah, I
do
hope
whatever I
that
need
if
to
it
do.
breaks in the way where it just goes out, because then I would just index blast probably.
Yeah.
But like if it just loses 0, then you still try to use the dot and end up missing
Yeah.
potentially. I know I have had dots fail at
You're, like,
matches
indexing
a couple
and the-
times, and
What?
yeah, like when that C&H dot died on me in class, and I'm like, why do I keep hitting low? Because I'm just still aiming at the right spot. I'm just hitting the wrong spot.
Wasn't that dot like $50?
No, that was like a $330 dot. That was like
Oh.
they're fairly expensive. Like this is the same price as a 507 comp.
You're thinking of the
You're thinking of the Gideon. That was a
Gideon.
cheap ass dot. That also
that's the one where the battery tray flew
the
out.
battery tray flew
I
out.
watched yours fly out. And then the next day I go to the range knowing Mike's flew out and I'm shooting and I'm like, oh, the battery tray is sliding out of my gun. I should have just put some Loctite on it after I watched his do the same thing.
And then I go and I'm dry firing with it, right? And I seat the mag and present the gun, and there's no dot. And I'm like, the hell? And then I took the mag out, I put it back in again, and like, oh, the dot's back. Just the impact of the mag hitting the gun was making the dot go on and off.
Ironically, I had a Trigicon like that.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, like that MRO for your AR.
Okay.
It was like I would shoot and like the dot would go out. I'm like, huh? I'd shoot again and it'd come back on. I was like, this is crazy. But it was some wiring thing which they fixed. So, but I don't think like nowadays. I think the Trigicons are great, but I don't think they're like you have to use them.
Right.
I think like the Hollisons are great for the money. Honestly, I've been super impressed. I know you guys have too with the O-Sight. I mean, for the money, like the O-Sights, I think you can buy 2 for what a Hollison cost,
Yeah, and have a
Mhm.
little bit of money left over, depending
Yeah.
on what you get them for.
which
Hopefully
is crazy.
they hold up. Like the ones I have beat up a little bit. They've held so far.
Yeah. Now, I'm not at a point where I'd feel comfortable like carrying one because I haven't shot it enough
Right.
in competition or what, just in general. But like, I mean, the one I've been using, I was surprised at how well the battery life is too. Because I thought normally like on cheaper optics, that's what goes the quickest is like the battery life, and then like 0 if you're chasing 0
Yeah.
with it. But I mean, I've been pretty surprised. So
Yeah. I've been a fan of that optic here recently. That's
the HD,
the HD. It's not the SRO big window, but what I do like is once I adjust it, usually I just leave it alone. Because it has a forward facing sensor. So if I'm playing around in an indoor range, it adjusts to the target. If I'm outside, it adjusts to the target. I don't have to really adjust the brightness on it. It's cool. It's expensive dot, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I was shooting that gun. I was like, this dot's nice.
Yeah.
And then I went and looked them up. I was like, get one of those for my.
Yeah, because they're like $700, $800, right?
yeah, I think so. It might
Yeah.
even be more in some places now. But I really enjoy that dot. I mean,
Yeah, and I think too, like it's contextual, right? So, me in my situation, I'm not spending that on a dot at where I'm at with life and kids and all
Right.
that. But like if you can and you like the dot, get it. You
Right.
know, I'm
Right.
not saying not to. Like I think sometimes people think you got to get the cheapest thing just because it's cheap, but it's like nah. Like
yeah,
if you like it,
Yeah, like if that was the only thing working, like I'd get it.
Yeah.
There are other ones that
right.
I've had pretty good
Right.
success with. Like that gun has a O-sight on it just because that's what was on it.
I love how
so
we
started
all just
carrying
looked
it.
over there.
Yeah,
It's like in the holster.
Yeah.
like-
But usually I carry with like the EPS.
Right.
That's a pretty
those are
good-
good.
That's what I'm
pretty
going
good
to put
dot.
on that Canic Prime. I'm setting
Yeah.
up just for the Salisbury.
We just got
matches.
my dad one of those for his carry gun for his
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get the full size one or the carry?
The carry, it's on a macro. So.
I like the full size. It's
I don't know, it's like that
basically
size.
yeah, like that's kind of in between probably.
Okay, yeah, whatever that is.
The carry is like thinner to like it's the same width as most of the thin slides where like the EPS will hang off the sides. It's basically the RMR window, so it's more like
That's a good question. I don't know.
yeah, like they look exactly
find
the
out.
same, just one's a scooch wider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to find out.
If you're like OCD, you might not like the dot being wider than your slide, and you'll want the carry. But I don't
Yeah.
care about that. I just want a tiny bit bigger window.
Yeah, and because I kind of not knocked them, but like I didn't really care about having enclosed emitter, and I think a lot of it was because I didn't have an enclosed emitter. But like when you shoot one or just even carry, like when you carry one and you don't have
There's no
lint,
crap in it
yeah,
ever.
like I'm like, how's there so much hair in this dot? Like,
When like the dots in them always look nicer because you're never gonna get anything on the emitter either. Like always gonna have a nice crisp dot. I
Yep.
mean, unless like it fails, gets moisture in.
yeah, but I think the way like technology is now, like, I mean, not that we're like throwing our guns on the ground, and I think that's what like for the everyday civilian, right? I don't need my dot to be like whatever classification for the military, right? Like I'm not jumping
Right.
out of a plane. And I'm not like I'm not actively throwing my gun on the ground every chance I get.
Like, do you watch what's the dude that drops the gun on the right on the optic after like 500 rounds?
Honest Outlaw.
Nah,
No?
there's another one that just
Oh.
did optics review. Like, is it? I don't know. Every review of optics was like
Sage
500 rounds.
Dynamics or
Drop
something?
it. Yeah, is that right?
sounds
I think that's
familiar.
it. You
I'm not
drop it on
sure.
concrete, and then like the dots I'm interested in break. And I'm like, well, I don't plan to drop my gun. Like, I want to know if this thing's gonna last for 10,000 rounds or 20,000 rounds. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to know if you dropped it once. Like, if I drop it once, I'll buy a new one.
Didn't
Yeah.
you drop the O-site? Was
I
it
did.
O-site?
But like, okay, I did. So I drop tested that one. But when you figure
Not
like
intentionally.
how many optics I have, and
I
I
like,
dropped
I like how,
one
hold on,
on
hold on.
concrete.
I like how you say you drop tested it like it was intentional.
That's what,
I drop tested it by mistake. It fell out of my holster. It
but
was
it's
unloaded.
still working, is what I was
Yeah.
getting at. It's still,
Yeah, so it would have passed his test. It moved on to the next round.
I mean, some of those they're all but like taking the optic as a hammer, like on the gun, trying to
Right.
bang a nail
Yeah,
in.
I don't want to know about that.
Yeah,
don't-
like cool. I'm glad that, and SROs are probably like the best one to talk about because those dots at the time and still probably now, like those dots for the most part would last forever, or they would die if the sun hit them at a certain angle. You know what I mean? It's like it would just quit working.
yeah.
Well, they were probably like the best dot on the market for a while,
Oh yeah,
and would also pretty much automatically fail. Like you drop it on concrete, it's gonna
Yeah.
crack the last,
yeah.
or you smack it with a hammer.
Which is
Something's-
partly why I went to the HD.
that looks like it could take a beat.
It will because I was shooting a match. I think it was Bridgeville, and you were there, and like my optic kept hitting this board because Billy had this low port. So like my gun was the optic was just smacking this
Yeah,
2x4.
That was where I put my arms
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
wall and shot.
Yeah, the port was so low. Like Ben just went like I don't know how he did it, but he just put his arms through the port and then shot like he could see through
Right.
the wall.
He
I'm
did
just
tall
like,
guy things.
Yeah.
Well, what was funny is Billy literally texted me, and because I was running late that day, but he was literally like, "Hey Ben, you shooting this my next match?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, I got something in there for you." And literally like we'll do that just because I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you gotta outgame the gamer.
But I mean, and that optic, it takes a beating. I mean, I'll test it out, like especially if something happens, and I'll just rack the slide with the optic just to see, and it doesn't
Yeah.
lose zero. I mean, it holds up pretty good so
And
far.
I've seen the SROs take a beating too. Like with that being said, um, Josh's fiance, we were shooting a match, and I remember like that dot, like she was like in a port, and that dot was like just smacking the crap out of the wooden port, and like I mean, just like do 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 do, and like he's looking at me, and we're looking back, and we're just like, and it was just like
And she has no idea, I'm sure, right?
no idea what was even happening, and like but we're both like cringing. I mean, it was probably like 10 shots, or it felt like 10 shots because I mean, because you know how much those are, and you're like, it might break doing that.
And
Um,
the gun kept working. Right?
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
like I've seen people
I
do
think it
it
was a
too. Like
320.
the gun hits and then it malfunctions and they clear it, they put it back in there and bang, and then it hits
That
again.
it was like the
and it
perfect
malfunctions.
distance where it was just like it was just slapping into it, and yeah, it was great. Um, yeah. Anything else on dots? I mean, I recommend people carry with a dot. I think
Yeah.
it's. I don't know. I don't listen to the old boomer fud like
Yeah.
guys who. I mean, they'll put 10,000 rounds and irons never fail.
Yeah, I've had a guy. I was shooting a match, and there was one stage where it was like it's kind of this one section of the stage was like kind of hosey, so it was like you could just like send it to like 3 or 4 targets, and the guy was like, "Yeah, I bet you didn't even use your dot." I'm like, "No, I definitely used my dot." He was like, "Why?" I'm like, "Like what?"
Because it's there. It tells me where the bullet's gonna go.
I'm like,
Yeah,
he's like,
imagine having a little red or green thing that just tells me right where the
Right.
shot's gonna go.
and so we get talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't believe in the dot, especially at close targets. You know, I index and I point shoot and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but if you train, you can draw the gun and acquire the dot.
And the dot should be there.
right. I
Like,
mean, so
Yeah,
it's
because I have that argument sometimes with people that will be like, well, in a concealed carry situation, I'm not going to be looking at the dot because it's adrenaline and all this. And I'm like, I don't really buy that.
Right.
Like, obviously, like, I haven't, I'm not clearing houses or whatever, but I know that, like, competition is probably the most amount of stress and pressure you can get under without physically being in some of those situations. And like, if I can find my dot in that and still be thinking, right, because of my index and like it's there, don't get me wrong. Like, if a guy is charging me, yeah, I'm just going to be trying to shoot him as quick as I
Right.
can. But it's like, if I draw my gun and I dry fire and I practice enough, like, my dot should still be there.
Yeah.
It might be a quick flash of red, right? But there should still be something there.
right. Right.
Which last question I'll ask you guys: do you believe in having backup irons on carry guns?
No, not really.
Yeah, I don't really care either.
And my
I-
reasoning is a little bit like there have been a couple of times my dot has gone out or I didn't have it on or something. Like I think I had I shot the Liberty match with a 365, and I think what I did is like when I racked it, I grabbed the optic,
Would you
like,
turn it off?
hit both of the buttons with my finger, and turned it off, and then didn't check it and shot the stage with no dot. And I didn't even think that I might have backup iron sights on the gun. I just put the targets in the window and pulled the trigger,
Yeah.
and everything worked out fine. Like I think I won that stage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm one of those people where if like, because I know a lot of guys get caught up on, oh, it's got a co-witness, da 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 da. Da. I don't really care about that. I mean, if the dot works when it works, that's great. If it happens to work out to where I can see my irons through the optic, that's cool too. But I don't really care either way. I mean, because I'm not
Yeah.
looking for my sights when I got an optic anyway. I'm looking, just trying to see that red or green on the target. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I do, I do think like if I'm in a self defense situation, and I could be completely wrong on this, but this is probably just my opinion. But if I'm in a situation like that, and like somebody is progressing to me, right? Like this isn't trying to make a 40-yard shot,
Right.
with irons, which we know I'm not going to do that. Just
Seen
hoping,
you
praying
shoot
hits
irons.
them. No, but like if somebody's progressing to me and I don't have my dot, like for the most part, like if I'm indexing, like I'm not going to be, if I can't find my dot, I'm not going to be looking for the irons to co-witness.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's almost like the irons co-witnessing, in my opinion, takes more away from the dot than what it adds. So
I've seen guys dot fly off their gun, and then they start index blasting through a stage. Get like halfway through the stage before they realize, like, oh wait, I have backup iron sights. I could use them.
yeah,
And then like they start trying to use the iron sights, and then their hits get worse.
yeah, and they're probably slower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But like, so I kind of look at it like most likely, I'm not going to think to switch to them. I'm just going to shoot. So
yeah,
Right.
not.
Right.
exactly. So, which you guys will be happy to know that my C2 is currently set up with irons. Yeah,
for no reason, really. Right.
just for today. Well, for the last couple
because
days.
you were trying to see if you could get it to fit.
Yeah,
for
Which
a
it
match.
doesn't.
it does
There's
not.
no way.
The only way I could do it is grind the irons off to fit. I was trying to fit it in the CCP IDPA box for those that don't know, and that box is so tiny, just so small. So I'm still trying to figure out a gun for Sheepdog. I have
A week.
6
week.
days left.
6 days. Nice.
So, well, 7. But anyways.
Still have that 365.
Yeah, I do. My wife's gone. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use a Glock, I guess. Anyways, yeah. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of the Point of Aim podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and drop a comment on what your carry gear setup is, and if you think optics are permitted on a carry gun or not. I want to hear what you guys think. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Let us know. That's a wrap.
Oh man.
I probably should have asked if there was any parting words. Is there any parting words, guys?